Hello, everybody. Welcome to Detox the Design podcast. This episode, I'm going to talk about one student's journey. Her name is Ananya Jindal. She's All India ranked 25 in NID Bachelor's Open category. I came in touch with her a few months ago when she was preparing for NID, and she had actually participated in one of the contests that we had, and she won access to the study material course that we had. And when I started having conversations with her, I realized that she had a very good base to build on. Now, in this video, she talks about what she did in class 11th and class 12th. Very interesting to see that she never thought about कि मुझे NID ही जाना है, मुझे NID ही करना है. She only thought about design. She only thought about how I can know more about design. She talked to seniors in IDK. She reached out to people who were preparing for the entrance exams. And she just enjoyed the whole process. She enjoyed making sketches. She enjoyed exploring mediums. And she read books. So everything at its core was getting to know more about design. It was never about exam mein kaise crack karna hai. So the focus was very clear. It was design. So stay tuned, and I'm sure you'll definitely pick up a thing or two from this episode. Hi, Ananya. How are you?
Hi, sir. I'm good, sir.
We both have circular glasses, I think, pretty much.
Yeah, almost similar.
Almost similar. It's been a long time. Good to see you.
Same, sir.
NID के रिजल्ट के बाद क्या किया बताओ?
NID के रिजल्ट के बाद थोड़ा बहुत सेलिब्रेट किया विद माय फैमिली एंड देन आई टॉक टू सीनियर्स जिन्होंने काफी हेल्प किया था थ्रू आउट एंड या नथिंग मच
Nothing much.
सेम रूटीन
उसके बाद से क्या कर रहे हो? What are you doing?
I've been reading books, doing some paintings, some commission work here and there.
Nice. That's good. That's good. So, how was the whole experience? I know you have like been at it. I am recalling the first few conversations that we had. Your hard work paid off. All your efforts paid off, right? All India rank 25,
Yes, sir.
right? Open category में NID. So how did that feel? जब result खोल के देखा तो कैसा लगा?
So actually काफी simple था. So round one में I got 72 rank. So it was pretty clear in my head that I have to get a rank below 50 and he say I'll get Ahmedabad campus. So काफी clear था and काफी simple सा goal था that I have to perform better in round two and just get a rank below 50. So like after round two, I did expect that I'll get a rank below 50, but 25 is better than I expected.
Outperformed.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right. So before we talk about the exam and how the experience was, I want to talk about how did you even come to the conclusion that हाँ मुझे design करना है?
Hmm.
Go back to 10, go back to 11th.
Hmm.
बाकी सब लोग जेई की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे थे, नीट की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे थे. तो how did you come to the conclusion कि design है?
I have a pretty like typical story. So I enjoyed painting, doing crafts and all that since the very beginning. And uske baad 10th mein I saw my peers, searching for like colleges and kya karna hai. And I didn't have any clue. Like I knew ki I wanted to do something creative.
Hmm.
But fine artist nahi banna tha, and nothing similar. But I did had in mind ki I might want to pursue being an art historian or maybe an art restorer, so something like that. But I didn't know how to do that in India. I still don't know actually. So I started searching, and then NID came up, like college and stuff. So I came to know about the entrances before I came to know about design. Then उसके बाद I started searching कि design क्या होता है. काफी podcast सुने including yours, and yes.
All right. So you decided कि पहले art में जाना है. Then you came across NID का entrance exam, then design.
Hmm.
So what got you interested in design? Art से design में कैसे switch किया?
Like, मैंने commission काम पहले से करना start कर दिया था since like ninth class. So like I knew about the commercial side of art a bit from the very beginning, and it was something that didn't interest me that much. I somewhat knew कि थोड़ा कुछ और meaningful करना है. So that was there. Plus design में when I explored design, and this is my favorite book, actually,
Bruno
designer.
Munari. Yeah.
Yeah, इसको read करने के बाद um, I just felt right about design. Like this is something I want to do.
Hmm. Nice. What's your biggest takeaway from that book? I've read that book. It's a beautiful book.
Yeah, I don't know. Like after reading this book, I just became a lot more observant about
Hmm.
everything around. Yeah.
Right. There's a small example that Bruno Munari shares in it. He says that we always come up with a different or an improved version of the product, which doesn't mean that the previous one was a shitty product, right? It's just an
Yeah, actually,
improvisation.
the chairs example that he gave, like there are so many chairs, but we're still
Yeah.
designing more and more.
Yeah.
It intrigued me a lot.
Yeah. It's a very interesting book. I think everybody should
Yeah.
read it. I'll leave
Yeah.
the link in the descriptions for that book. It's a beautiful book. Uh, so coming to your 12th standard, right? What majors did you have?
I had humanities. Like बाकी सब subjects easy थे, but I didn't have maths, so that was a bit challenging. Plus, I didn't go to any tuitions, so I had to manage it by my own.
Hmm. So tell me about the process of, going through that uh, maths wala thing.
I don't know. It was like I was preparing for entrances 50% of the time, and the rest I gave to maths. And बाकी subjects की तरफ मैंने देखा ही नहीं. I
Hmm.
was just doing maths, then preparation. And when the boards came, I studied for the rest of the subjects as well as maths.
Hmm. So you said I think all the other subjects were a little easier for you compared to
Hmm.
maths.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, when you compare it with the preparation, 50% of the time you said you dedicated to it. So what was your typical day like?
I didn't have a routine, I'll be honest. So it was like I prepared very hard for like 3 days straight, and then I didn't do anything for a week.
Hmm.
ऐसा था. So it wasn't anything concrete in the beginning, but then when the entrance exams were like 2 or 3 months away, then I, started having proper sittings, full like 4 hours of sitting, and I was just sketching continuously.
कितने घंटे sketch करते थे?
Um, so in the preparation phase, like I said, like 2-3 months just before the exam, I was doing proper settings, like questions pick kiye, and then I sat and then अच्छे से solve kiye, then discussed it with my friends, वगैरह वगैरह. But then उससे पहले, because I started pretty early on, and when you are at 11th, um, entrance exams इतना it appears as a distant reality कि यार अभी कल नहीं है, तो तब तो I was very free. I was going for live sketching sessions with friends, and just attending webinars,
Hmm.
online, just anything.
Yeah. So you started your preparation pretty much in 11th, right? Yeah. So 11th May, and I also stress this a lot on live sketching. Uh,
Hmm.
I think you did that quite a bit, and paintings, because I remember seeing your initial drawings and initial work when we just started speaking, the painting, the anatomy work,
Hmm.
all of that. So you already had a pretty strong base
Hmm.
for to build on, basically, because you've been drawing and painting and doing uh, a lot of things to do with different mediums,
Hmm.
right? So you had done your exploration pretty much early on. And when
Hmm.
you came to 12th or 11th, it was more of drawing and live sketching, the technical side of things, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when did you realize that, okay, painting तो ठीक है, अलग है, but
Hmm.
जो actual drawing है, जो exam में बनाना है, that is completely different.
Yeah, so it all started with live sketching. So I think I properly started live sketching when I was in 11th. So I changed school, and jo naya wala school tha, it had a huge campus. So it was like a playground. So itni classes I used to bunk and go to, एंड उसके 12th तो पूरा बंक ही था मेरा. 12th में तो क्लासेस ही नहीं अटेंड करी. आई वाज स्केचिंग द होल टाइम.
Hmm.
लाइक माय फ्रेंड्स आल्सो कमेंटेड कि लाइक हर टाइम स्केच बुक होती है हाथ में.
Hmm.
बट आई एंजॉयड इट. इट वाजंट समथिंग फोर्सफुल.
Hmm.
I enjoyed it throughout. And but I will say, I'll be honest, I was terrible at it in the beginning.
Hmm.
uh, you know um like जब मैं रेफरेंसेस से ड्रॉ करती थी तब तो काफी इजी था एंड आई फेल्ट लाइक अ प्रॉपर आर्टिस्ट की सब कुछ आता है. बट देन द थिंग इज दैट लाइव स्केचिंग ऐसा डायरेक्टली नहीं हेल्प करता. लोगों को लगता है कि लाइव स्केचिंग प्रैक्टिस कर लिया तो ड्राइंग बेटर हो जाएगा. बट ड्राइंग फ्रॉम इमेजिनेशन इज अ कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट थिंग एंड दैट इज समथिंग यू नीड इन द एग्जाम. एंड लाइव स्केचिंग उसमें हेल्प करता है.
Hmm.
Observation work.
So it's all basically being observant, right? In
Hmm.
everything that we do. Now, when you draw, you're building muscle memory. You're also looking at things and then you're capturing that on paper, right? Live sketching is basically that. So it could be a chai wala, it could be a bus stand, it could be anything, any vendor for that matter, any context for that matter. So you're basically capturing that context and your elements, like capturing the elements, and you're also drawing people and moving postures.
Hmm.
So your observation is increased over time. Able to retain information is increased. Able to remember things is increased. Because now, if I have to do live sketch, I was so terrible at it. Even I was so terrible at it. But now, if I have to draw a live sketch, I'll just have a look at it once or twice, and then I'll remember, okay, what is he wearing? चप्पल कौन से हैं, सैंडल्स हैं, शूज हैं, शर्ट पे लाइंस हैं, स्ट्राइप्स है या चेक्स है, क्या है, क्या पोस्चर है, right? So you capture that and then that builds sort of your visual library, right? So you have that the back of your mind. Then when you have a question which requires you to draw from memory, so you sort of pull out all of these things and your brain sort of makes connections, and that's how you draw and you pick up those postures. Or acha ye this I saw this in one of those things, and I think I also mentioned in one of the episodes that uh, मैं एनआईडी के एग्जाम से भी पहले ना आई वाज ड्राइंग. So I think I saw somebody who was sitting there and it was interesting and I was just drawing. So I used the same posture in the exam. It worked out. So it works.
Your mind library starts to expand.
Yeah.
And by the time studio test came,
Mm,
I didn't even need to look at anything. I
mm.
was so good at sketching from imagination.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a very important aspect that even people miss out, and that is there in not only in NID, it's also there in UCEED because they also talk about visualization sketches, right? So drawing from different perspectives, it is there. So when you are going through this process, right? Okay, your friends see you with a sketchbook all the time, and I'm sure not everybody was into design, right?
No.
Humanities mein. There are different domains, different pathways. So
Mhm.
how did you feel that यार बाकी सब लोग तो वो कर रहे हैं, मैं तो बस sketchbook लेके घूम रही हूँ? How was that like?
I didn't care actually, like as I said, मैंने school change किया था, so I didn't know a lot of people, so like judgments वगैरह से I didn't फर्क भी नहीं पड़ता था. Everyone was doing their own thing.
Hmm.
Someone was with like huge books, JEE वगैरह की preparation. I was with sketchbook. It was cool.
Nice. I think I really like your attitude. The majority of the students are feeling like, okay, यार वो तो ये सब कर रहे हैं, मैं क्या कर रही हूँ? है?
Hmm. I
मैं
did feel that. I did feel that because I wasn't going to any coaching. I wasn't enrolled in any tuition, right? So कभी कभार left out feel होता था because people used to discuss their routines कि like अरे स्कूल से जाके ये करना है and मेरे पास कुछ नहीं होता था स्कूल से घर आने के बाद. So
right, right.
but हाँ धीरे धीरे routine build कर लिया था.
So what routine are you talking about here? Routine build कर लिया था तो क्या, like what was it?
Like by routine, I don't mean like a proper schedule कि घर आके 5 बजे ये start करना है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. So the thing was that I realized कि I am not going to any coaching. So then I thought about कि coaching offer क्या करता है, and then I broke it down to two things. First of all, peers who are preparing for the same entrance. तो उससे तुम्हें थोड़े examples मिल जाते हैं कि लोग कैसा काम कर रहे हैं. First that, and second faculty feedback. So ये दो चीजें missing थी. So I spent the entire 11th in making friends who were preparing for same entrances, and time bhi laga, you have to eliminate some people who don't have same mindset, same motivation level. कईयों को सिर्फ स्टार्ट्स में इंटरेस्ट होता है कि कट ऑफ इतना है, तुम्हें टाइम कितना होगा स्केच में. सो अनोइंग, सो अनोइंग. सो लगा फ्रेंड्स फाइंड करने में, एंड देन फ्रेंड्स मिल गए थे जिनके साथ आई यूज्ड टू डू प्रॉपर सेशंस वगैरह. एंड उसके बाद फीडबैक. सो फीडबैक में थोड़ा स्ट्रगल किया था. आई यूज्ड टू टॉक टू यू, आई आस्क्ड हेल्प फ्रॉम सीनियर्स जिनका क्लियर हो गया था, या फिर पीयर्स ही जो कि सेम ईयर में एंट्रेंस दे रहे थे. Also, I was very interested in art and design history from the very beginning. Like GK was something that मैंने ऐसे pressure में आके नहीं किया कि अरे एग्जाम के लिए करना है. It just came very naturally. I used to I like to read about like architecture and all that stuff. So Google Arts and Culture was very helpful. It has a lot of information. And then I have this secret resource which I found during studio test, and it's a YouTube, it's a channel named Arvind Gupta. And he just has wonderful craft videos on his channel, and he makes very functional craft items using very minimal items similar to what NID asks for. So that's a good resource.
How was the exam experience for you?
अगर सिर्फ NID की बात करें, बाकी एंट्रेंसेस की नहीं, तो लाइक द एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ राउंड 1 एंड राउंड 2 वर completely different. बिकॉज राउंड 1 में आई वाज वेरी स्ट्रेस्ड क्योंकि कुछ क्लैरिटी नहीं थी. प्रिपेयर किया था बट अगेन आई डिडंट फील वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट. लाइक द थिंग इज आई प्रिपेयर्ड अ लॉट बट अगेन कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आ रहा था अंदर से, एंड आई पैनिक्ड अ बिट इन एग्जाम. बट लाइक हो गया. Like, and when I came out, there were things that I had regrets about कि अरे better हो सकता था. But round 2 was completely different. For some reason I was so relaxed. I felt so right, like I was in the right position, so confident. And the thing is कि मैंने round 2 के time इतना prepare भी नहीं किया था, but the preparation that I did quality rich. Like जो भी नई चीज बना रही थी, धीरे धीरे improvements शो हो रहे थे. So yeah, like exam के बाद मैं बाहर आई, and I just felt good about the way exam went. There's a big difference between preparation and actually giving the exam. For example, people might think that your preparation is like a blueprint for how your exam is going to go, right? And then exam नहीं अच्छा जाता, so you are like, preparation तो इतना अच्छा किया था, why didn't the exam go well? But the thing is that I realized it after round 1. That preparation is something that you do only for yourself. No one's going to know about the solution that you came up with during preparation, right? It's all about the thing that you do in that 3-hour span, right? So the most important thing is that you have to give your maximum output during those 3 hours. Right. Exam is important, right? And then again, like why the only reason I felt like my preparation for round 2 was very it went very good. I felt confident. I didn't prepare a lot. Again, I only had 2 weeks to prepare for studio test, but the preparation quality was so good because I was honest with me throughout, because I knew it no one's gonna judge me. I'm making sketches only to improve for that day.
What sort of questions were there in both the rounds? Let's say round 1.
Round 1, काफी easy questions थे. The thing is that I saw previous year paper 2022 का, and the GK part and the reasoning part were very simple. So GK part में तो I knew everything, so I thought कि similar ही आएगा, and GK की practice मैं कर भी रही थी, so I was confident about that. But as we know, NID का paper unexpected होता है, so GK में ऐसे questions आए which I had no idea about. मैंने guess work ही किया उसमें, right? And then part B questions were pretty easy, like very expected type questions, काफी easy.
अच्छा, तो GK questions में मतलब क्या, what were the questions? Do you remember?
I don't exactly remember. There was a question about like what is the greenest state in India, and like a latest silent movie, something like that. Things that I didn't have any idea about. And there was another question related to a Japanese flower arrangement. Again, didn't have any idea about. Very diverse questions.
All right. And for the part B?
Part B. So there were four questions this year. First one was a perspective question. There was a scene of a family given in their living room, and there was a small rat नीचे को एकदम scene में. So we had to sketch it from the rat's perspective. So very typical question, काफी easily हो गया था. But again, the thing is कि I did practice perspective, but it wasn't like my strongest point. So I sketched the composition in a way which was fun. Like I zoomed in the family's legs, and I showed body hair and chappal ki details. Very quirky answer.
Hmm.
And then the second question was problem solving question. It was something like there's a particular place near your home and it's being continuously polluted by people, so like log वहाँ पे garbage फेंक के जा ही जा रहे हैं, there's no improvement, so what you will do for that. वो भी हो गया था काफी easily. Then like the thing is that काफी expected questions there, nothing out of the blue. The third question was storyboarding question. We
Hmm.
had to complete a story, and then we had to storyboard it in 3 panels. So that is one question which went a bit wrong because I practice story writing, but I also had an approach. But again, exam stress के अंदर अंदर कुछ भी ठीक से नहीं हुआ. So the thing was that they had given the beginning and the ending of the story, and we had to complete the story, like
Oh.
plot with that. So what I did was I started writing it straight away without thinking about climax क्या होगा, पूरा plot क्या है, ending कैसे होनी है, nothing like that. It was a major mistake. And then the last question was communication question. So we had to illustrate steps for first combing hair, then cutting nails, and then sharpening a pencil.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the thing is that these are so simple questions. The only thing that matters is your take on it.
Yeah.
You know, like cutting your nails, right? So मुझे पता था कि like I could draw hands, but again strongest point नहीं था. So
Hmm.
I drew toenails instead क्योंकि easier था. So
Right.
yeah, and उससे interesting भी हो गया था.
Hmm. Absolutely. It's a different perspective, right? That's what they're looking for, out of the box thinking. You're not like, okay, nails मतलब यहीं पे बैठ के like thumb काट रहे हैं ऐसा कुछ. Right. So what about the second round, like the studio test? What sort of questions were there?
I think round two ka like the overall pattern it worked for me because every question came with a timer. कि ये 25 minutes, then this one in 10 minutes. Whereas in round one we had to manage time as well. I was able to complete round one in time, but again I didn't manage time very properly. So
Okay.
it worked for me because I didn't have to think about the previous question or the upcoming question. My whole concentration was on a particular question. Yeah. So in round two, there were 3 question papers. First first question paper consisted of 3 questions. First one was an audio related question. So there were 12 sounds played, and we had to describe any 10 of it. Again, sounds were very normal, like glass में पानी भरना या फिर horse के दौड़ने की आवाज, very typical sounds. And then उसके बाद we had a video related question. So a movie was played, and there were 2 parts. First of all, we had to write the overall core value of the movie, and then we had to make a poster about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I think in this question, my take was it was a movie about zoo. The thing is, many people wrote about animal cruelty. I did the same, but again, I did it in an interesting manner. So again, I think you can go with generic answers, but again, it's the way you approach, that generic perspective. Then third question was the object identification question. So that in which they give us a box and we have to put hands and identify the object. Yeah. So इसका practice नहीं किया था because again, how do you practice for such a thing? So
Instagram पे reels देखे थे.
no.
You have these reels. There was a trend पीछे.
Oh yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, like animal होता है या फिर something scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like इसमें different होता है because like the object that they give is so intricate and something you have never
Yeah.
explored before. Yeah, so they give us 5 minutes to explore the object. I mean, full use of the opportunity because there were many screws. I unscrewed them. Like
Mm.
I touched everything. It was a single object, but it was broken down into two parts. So basically एक bottle था and उसका cap था and अगर आप उसको try करते तो वो fit हो जाता. ये क्वेश्चन था and I sketched it in a way कि काफी interesting था. So first of all, I drew the whole object, like both the parts, right? And then arrows लगा के I made those 3D like exploding view of those objects. I labeled everything properly.
Right.
And then the second question paper, it was a psychometric question. I knew एक तो आना है because previous year maybe a psychometric question came. So the question was that you are in your school, there are two people, person A, person B.
Mm.
Person A is your friend and he or she is bullying person B. So how are you going to approach this situation? So I think in these type of questions, it's very important to stay honest in the sense that, I also thought I'd write something in a way they'll know कि मेरे में leadership qualities or something.
Mm.
You directly go to the person, approach usko and, talk about the situation. But then I actually thought कि, मैं actually करूँगी ये. And I was like, no, no. I'm not that kind of person, जिसको दूसरों के काम में ऐसा टांग अड़ाने में मजा आता है. So I tackled it in a way कि like I saw myself as a passive observer.
Mm.
I observed everything, understood what the context was. क्योंकि ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता कि सिर्फ एक इंसान की गलती हो in that situation. So I tried to understand the situation from both the perspectives,
Mm.
but not directly, just as an observer.
Mm.
And then I decided whether I have to report it to someone or not. The thing is that I didn't like take it into my own hands. The thing is that if you're honest about the way you are gonna approach a situation, you have more substance to add.
Mm.
So we had to illustrate this as well. So again, the thing is that they give a single box, right? And now it's upon you how you want to utilize it.
Mm.
So I could have made a simple illustration, but then I thought, why not a comic? Because it's my strongest point. I can make comics, like long comics. So I did a 3-panel comic. And in the first frame, I drew myself with binoculars
Mm.
behind a window. I'm observing everything. And then in the second one, my ears are like wide open, like elephant type ears, and I'm, observing everything. And then in the third one, I am reporting it to a teacher in a very unbiased way. कि
Mm.
किसी को ऐसा discrimination now. Yeah.
Right. So in this whole experience, right, now you've made it to NID. You'll soon go to NID, right? What was the toughest thing in this whole journey, entire process? What was the toughest thing that you learned?
So the thing that I struggled with the most was staying honest with myself. For an example, there was a point in the preparation where I completely stopped preparing for NID, and I was like, मुझे तो बस UCEED के लिए prepare करना है. And the entire time I was just doing, solving previous year questions and drawing, doing a bit of composition related work. So the thing was that I realized it later that at that time it was just convenient for me to sit in front of my laptop and just solve questions because it wasn't a task in which I had to do a lot of efforts. मैं just अपने आप को काम बचा रही थी थोड़ा थोड़ा.
Mm.
So yeah, it took time, and again, the thing is about solving previous year questions. It was something that was easy
Mm.
and that I could, do anytime basically. And to say you also get a sense of preparation, real preparation that, okay, you are sitting on a desk and you are preparing like JE students do. So वो भी था. But again, it like part A of UCEED wasn't something that came very naturally to me. So it took time to realize, my natural inclinations.
Mm. Interesting. Interesting. So how did you come to this, like to the decision that, okay, you were not enjoying solving part A of UCEED and sketching tab itni ho nahi rahi thi, I'm assuming, right? So how did you decide कि हाँ यार चलो, this is not working, this is not what I'm interested in, not natural to me, मजा नहीं आ रहा है, तो sketching में वापस कैसे आए?
I think the I started preparing seriously only 1 or 2 months before the exam, NID and UCEED exam. उसके पहले I was just filling sketchbooks, making artworks. Like I was engaged the entire time, but not in a very serious way. But
Hmm.
now that I think of it, all of the things that I was doing, at least I was engaged in a creative task.
Yeah.
Again, about sketching, I was sketching the entire time. I showed
Yeah.
up regularly. My art account also helped a lot. So I have an art account on Instagram. I made it in eighth class. I have been posting since, and it is really something that motivates me to, keep on making stuff. Not for like creating content or anything. I just genuinely like to,
Hmm.
make art and post it. So that was a motivational factor.
That's nice. That's nice. One key thing to take from your journey, I feel, is that you've been you haven't been, fixated on NID or any such
Mhm,
thing,
mhm, mhm,
which is very important, which majority of the students make a mistake कि हाँ यार जाना है NID में ही जाना है,
mhm,
ये करना है वो करना है, ठीक है, it is good to have that goal, but they lose the focus on the journey to NID, right? They just want NID, NID, NID.
mhm,
But बीच में क्या है कि all of these things, to enjoy that process ना, to actually be involved in that process कि sketching कर रहे हो, you're showing up every day like you said, you're enjoying making those sketches and posting it on your Instagram, whatever works for you. Maybe somebody might not want to, show it to others also. There are people who do that. That is fine. It is totally fine. But if you like going and sitting in the, public spaces and just drawing, that also works. But yeah, like I said, the key thing is to enjoy what you were doing, and it was already in the right direction because you had figured out, you'd been researching or learning about how to get into this thing, how to go about the whole process for a couple of years now, right? So that direction was right, and you were enjoying the process. So that is the key from your journey that I'm sure that everybody should, pay attention to and see how they can incorporate these things into their journey now. So the future is exciting.
yeah,
It's very exciting, right?
yeah,
And specifically when you're going to take up, bachelor's at an ID,
yeah,
you're going to meet amazing people, right? Very good crowd, very good atmosphere, and a good campus as well, you would have
yeah.
said, right?
हम्म,
It's a nice
सारे ब्लॉग्स
campus.
देखे हैं यूट्यूब पे.
Yeah, I think you'll have a very good time there, right? So wishing you all the best
Thank you
in
so much,
future.
sir.
So that is something that I definitely want you guys to take from this episode and incorporate it into yours and try to enjoy the process and try to get to know what design is at its core. And I want to leave you with that, and I'll see you in the next episode.